Alright, I've mostly finished my Spark and Go Pathfinder. The objective of this build is to throw sparks and to not reduce your move speed while throwing sparks. Best way to do that is with a little spark tap and walk, but you can also just hold it down and lay down the law. Let's take a look at how I'm pathing. Movement speed. We're getting some shock effect, movement speed, and skill speed. This bad boy is extremely important. Lightning damage with non-critical hits is lucky. And the only damage modifier we have on Spark is going to be controlled destruction for 30% more damage with hits and ailments, but I cannot crit, which is perfectly fine for me. And we head over this way. Enemies you electrocute have 20% increased damage taken. And it doesn't say enemies that are electrocuted. It just says enemies you electrocute. So this could mean that it's a permanent 20% more damage multiplier to any enemy you have electrocuted. And that is every enemy, because we are using these gloves right here. These gloves allow lightning damage from hits to contribute to electrocution build up. Without these gloves, you have to find some other way to apply electrocution, and I don't know what that way is, but there's probably a way in the game. Path on up here, grab the more maximum lightning damage. You're going to be grabbing all of your mana shenanigans. I like to grab lightning damage from skills, chains, and additional time, and then pairing that with Snake Pit. Now, Snake Pit is kind of optional, and so is this chaining, but what Snake Pit plus that does is allowed each arc to chain 2 additional times, and this allows you to clear alleyways and hallways far more effectively. It also improves on your off-screening, because a big part of this build is just off-screening everything. Now, I already had the life combo gear. This is a very nice body armor that has life but no mana, so I've been doing hybrid. But if you're starting this from scratch, Chaos Inoculation plus Mind Over Matter is probably a better grab. And then you'll want to grab these nodes here to give you more energy shield to apply to your mana. And you're going to want to get to at least 5,000 mana. But because I don't have that, I'm okay at 3,368 with 2,000 life. Now, that is pretty much the only important nodes. Right now, I'm doing a bunch of jewels that I got from my other build, which do 4% of damage taken from mana before life, which is why I'll be able to survive hits. But most of you guys probably want to do CI, so you don't have to worry about any chaos resistance. Now, for your wand, the important nodes are mana and +2 lightning skills. I find that +2 all spells is a little bit more effective to buy, because then you're not pigeonholed into just lightning, and it's not that more expensive. Now, I think you can go to +5 lightning skills, but for +4 to all spell skills, it's pretty good. And the 2 main nodes you're going to want are mana and the +2 levels, and you can get that between 10 and 20 exalts. As you add each one of these things, like say you want to add the mana regeneration, that's going to add a little bit. Let's say you want to add the spell damage, that's going to add a ton. That's going to make it so there's not even a single one on the market. So you add the spell damage, and then you're into the divine range. And so, you know, it just gets a little bit more expensive for each mod that you add. But ideally, you're going to, the main 2 important ones is the mana and the +2 all levels. And then I would try to focus on mana regeneration rate, because mana regeneration rate is extremely important, because that is your life pool. That is your defenses. Rings, you're just going to want, you know, your basic stat rings. Rings are only there to provide stats like all res and rarity. Helmet, you're going to want to get more energy shield than I have, and you're probably going to want these jewels that do +2 to maximum mana, but I ran out of those jewels. I guess they might be kind of rare. I don't know. I don't have any, so I just use 15 mana regeneration rate. And for these bad boys, you're likely going to want to do Mind Over Matter with Chaos Inoculation, so you're not going to need the life. But, you know, you just grab, like, these 3 nodes is going to be expensive. Okay, maybe not that expensive, right? Not that great a gear. Not that overpriced, but if you want to get the double stat, you won't need chaos resistance. So, you know, it's basically what you need. Not that expensive, not that outlandish. The amulet, the main reason for the amulet is you want to get to 170 spirit. That is going to allow you to use Archmage plus cast on shock and clarity. You can go 160 and drop out Clarity, but I feel for 10 Spirit, Clarity is great. And the best way that I found to do that is just to get Spirit on your body armor and then grab a Solar Amulet with Spirit on the top. Because when you get Spirit as a stat, it usually increases the price of the amulet a lot. But when it's Spirit is part of the base, it doesn't increase it that much. So let's just take a look at some of the prices of this. The important stats are, again, mana, and then you're going to want like resistances. Okay, I didn't like it with the cold res. Okay, it's just not... Oh, the enchant. People aren't using my tech, so it's not that expensive. So 1 res, you're getting into the divine range. If you put double res on here, you know, it's going to be a lot harder to find, but it's not that expensive. The rarity is always going to increase the cost. So if you're going for a rarity build and you're doing chaos inoculation, so you didn't need that extra chaos, you can get your resistances on your helmet and your rings. You can get something like this with rarity and then these double mana nodes for, you know, 50 exalts-ish. This bad boy, the cast speed feels nice, but the cast speed is optional. This is primarily for the energy shield and the mana. The energy shield is being converted to mana, so it's pretty nice. But I think nodes like increased energy shield from equipped focus don't work very well unless you're getting something that overflows your energy shield to your life. Movement speed is the most important part of the boots. I mean, the whole point of the build is to move and cast, so you want to get as much movement speed as possible. I'm only at 41.6. You can get more movement speed than that. I don't know how, but I know there's a body armor with movement speed, so you might be able to get that. So if you really wanted to min-max this, if you like the way this plays, it's very boring because you just kill everything off screen. But if you're liking the way this feels and plays, you're going to want to stack as much movement speed as possible. And ideally, because I didn't buy most of this gear, it's like leftover gear that I had from my other character. Ideally, you're probably going to want to do a evasion hybrid, so you can grab these evasion nodes, and that will allow you to get an additional 3% here with 30% increased evasion. These are really strong. I think there's a few other movement speed nodes you can grab on the tree to make this spectacular. Now let's take a look at what I'm rocking for skill gems. Pretty much only have a few things. I'm rocking Spark with Control Destruction, Acceleration, Inspiration, Mobility, and Arcane Tempo. Now, cast on Shock, I have a Lightning Conduit. It should be a level 20, but I'm too lazy to actually get a level 20, so I'm using that one. My corruption failed, and, you know, it's just what I'm using. You want this to increase your energy, this to have a chance to refund the cost. I could probably get rid of this and put something else in because I mostly just want to, you know, hit a couple times. Elemental Focus, it can't shock anyway, so that's just more damage. And then Lightning Mastery applies to both Cast on Shock and Lightning Conduit, so I figure that's a good one. But you could probably drop that bad boy for something that adds more damage to the Lightning Conduit if you plan on doing bosses, which this is not the best build for bosses. This is like a T15 farmer build. If you're going to do some bosses, you're likely going to have somewhat of a bad time. But you can clear regular map bosses, but I wouldn't go into any like copper or iron bosses. I just probably wouldn't do it with this build. Unless you're doing Mind Over Matter and you get above 6,000 mana, then you could probably do it. But as I have it now, it's not the best. It's not what it's made for. God damn, this sun will not go away. I hate the sun. Let us sell some of this bullshit that I axe. 50 spirit. That's almost good. You know what? Watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this. Let's take a little time. I'm going to hit the attributes. Damn it. I give my items one shot to be good, and if they fail, then I throw them on the ground instead of selling them because they disrespected me. I always pick up the prismatic orbs, and I just hit them with one of these. Because these are the best rings in the game, in my opinion. And you might get something like this, right? Lightning resistance, rarity, fire damage. Too bad fire is the most useless skill element in this game. And then it hits accuracy. Let's re-roll that. Watch it hit the accuracy. Nope. Just give it a shot to be something great. I don't like the way the items work in this game. It's like pure luck. There's no way to predictively do it. I'm getting close to having breach. I don't have any breach yet. I am at 246. And the worst content that this build can do is actually bossing content. And so that's what I'm going to do. Because I ran through and I cleared out a bunch of bosses. I just failed that. See that map failed? I tried it on here and it didn't go so good. But we have boss, 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 bosses everywhere. And what I use this build for is my navigator. I run through and I navigate. I grab the towers and I just blast through, grabbing towers, not killing bosses. And then I'll switch to a build. Ideally, you should switch to a build that's dedicated and good for bosses. But I don't have that build, so I'm going to use this build for bossing. Now, for bossing, you're going to want to avoid a couple of stats. You don't want the boss to have extra life or extra damage. So if you look at this, it's quantity, rarity, magic pack size, additional packs, magic monsters. This is a perfect map to run a boss on. So let's throw some tunes and let's just do it. Let's just chill. Let's show the Pathfinder spark and go. You see how I'm sparking and how I'm going? That's what you want to do. You want the sparks in front of you at all times because the sparks will spark enemies, and when they are sparked, they are electrocuted, which means they are stunned. And this is like the worst place to put this breach, but we'll breach it. It's safe for pretty much all the league mechanics because it just off-screen stuns basically everything. And that does make it pretty boring. And if you're trying to play safe, you don't want to be right at the breach edge because enemies can kind of start to spawn behind you. And if you get surrounded, you're susceptible to stun locks. I have a freeze charm, so I'm not that susceptible to freezing, but stun locks, 100% a possibility. In fact, one of the ways I die is on essences. I just don't pay enough attention. I unlock the essence comes out, stuns me, murders me, kills me. Also, because I'm like highly mobile and I attack while running, on death effects also get me pretty frequently as well. And again, I like the tap walk, little tap shoes. Oh, guy's following behind me. But he's already stunned, which means he's dead. Little tap walk. And we're already at the boss. What boss do we have? Oh, this dude takes forever to come out. I hate him because he does that. We got the curse. We got the circle. And you want to lay down as much damage as possible early on, but you need to watch your mana. Because your mana is your defenses. So you see I ran out of mana and almost died? That's because mana is my defenses. You're going to want to control your casting a little bit because cast on shock will take a lot of mana out of you. So you just got to be careful. When you go ham, you got to watch your mana, basically. You go below like here, you want to stop casting. But for whatever reason, I can like non-stop, well not for whatever reason, it's the cast on shock, but I can kind of sustain pretty well just casting, spamming it. I have a little bit of mana on death, which is how because this is meant to be a mapper, which is how I map and don't run out of mana. I can just hold the button like this, right? I'm just going to hold it the whole time. And I don't run out of mana because I have mana on death. I think 2%, one of my jewels has 2% mana on death. It's really good. On kill, you don't get mana when you die, you get mana when you kill. And I should put on a teleport setup, but I haven't yet. I get into trouble with them. I get a little antsy, and I'll switch my teleport on, and then I'll teleport into business, and then I'll just get into trouble. Crypt completed. I don't like to run the maps farther than the completion, because it's, most of the value is finding new citadels and finding bosses. And I don't find too much value in clearing out the maps 100%. Most of the time I do clear it out 100%. But let's take a look at this map. Now what I do is I go through and I try to get a tier 16 map So I do corruptions, and I save the corruptions that look like they're good for bosses. I just kind of throw them up at the top here. So all these I felt were good for bosses. So this one has gold, quantity, rarity, pack size, additional packs, magic monsters, number of rares. It's just a really good map to fight a boss on for this build, because the boss isn't going to be very strong. We got a boss here with some breach. And eventually I'm going to try out Fulminating Concoction. It seems pretty decent, but I'm a caster, and a lot of my damage is spells, like Archmage does spell damage, or added. Let me read Archmage. I don't think it's going to add it to that. Archmage, while active, causes your non-channeling spells, right? So this concoction is not a spell. You're throwing a fucking lightning potion at someone, which kind of seems like a spell, but it's definitely not a spell. So you don't get any benefit there. But what you do get is inflicts lightning exposure on hit. So this is a guaranteed exposure, and you can stack more exposure. I don't think you can get quality on this. It would be interesting if it lets you pump up the quality. But you could stack up exposure, and what you could do is you could throw this at bosses to apply exposure, and that's probably going to be better than just more flash charges games, because flask in this game are pretty lame so far. I'm not sure there's any unique flask. I haven't seen any unique flask, so flask are kind of pointless. So you kind of have a dead node, right? But for T15, T16, regular mapping, and obviously I've gotten one boss down, but I'm not going to say it's good for bossing. Most of the rares that you fight just get stun locked from electrocution. Just completely disabled. Like, I am off-screening so many enemies. Oh, might as well talk about this. Why am I not casting? Am I lagging out? No? I can't cast. I can't portal. Cannot use a portal at this time. My latency is not going. Okay. Very solid options. It won't let me portal. It won't let me cast. Won't let me click anything. Let me see if it'll let me go in my town portal. Looks like I have unlocked new game mechanics here. No, I can't. Okay. Exit to character selection. Hopefully I didn't brick that whole thing. That's my fault for trying to do strong boxes. There we go. So, what is it? Is it Alt U? No. Control U? There we go. So normally I path up this way, I grab these bad boys, and I grab this bad boy and all this jazz. But for now, I'm actually giving shrines and strong boxes a shot. So I got some strong boxes, I got some shrines, and the reason I'm giving shrines a shot is if you get a movement speed shrine at the start, it just really makes this build shine, and it's a good time. It puts a smile on your face when you get that movement speed shrine. So I'm popping shrines on this bad boy for that reason. Probably not the best solution, but you know, you'll see if I get a movement speed shrine. You'll be like, okay, yeah, that is pretty goddamn dope. And for breaches, it's a little dangerous when you first press it, but as it expands, the danger dissipates. And you just off-screen everything, and you just don't need to worry about nothing. And again, that's the projectile speed and the chaining that's allowing you to do so much damage from a distance. And all the elites just get stutter-stepped and stunned. Like, this dude, what's he thinking? Right? He's just gonna be stunned forever. Yeah, right there is where a teleport would be real handy. handy. Heh, I just got a handy. Again, it's a little dangerous to ride the edge like that. A big scary guy can pop down. But this game, what this build definitely does, it puts you in a false sense of security because you're killing things off screen so frequently that you kind of get unused to fighting enemies the proper way. And so that means when you go to a boss where you actually have to be a little bit more deliberate with your actions, you can be in a false sense of security and get yourself killed. You can see 47% shocks on these bad boys, just running through. Not quite maxed out at 50, but who cares? 47's close, right? That's close enough. And I'm not a racer. I always take my time when I map, but for me, this is very, very quick. And all of these maps, I swear, are designed to be very difficult for me to navigate. I always go the wrong way, I have to backtrack all the time. And then, you know, you fight annoying bosses that have multiple phases like this, so we'll be here a bit. Faunus too low, let him go to his next phase. I'll beat you to where you're going, buddy. It's a race. Boring. The lightning conduit is the star of the show for bossing. And I'm not optimized for lightning conduit's damage. I'm sure there's a way to optimize it, but we're heading places, right? He's got to smash this door down. We're heading over here. I'll meet you there, buddy. See, it's not that great at bossing. Ooh, up to 4 maps in range contain bosses. Very nice. But it gets the job done on most bosses. You gotta play a little bit smart. Don't want your maps to have additional HP or boss does additional damage or anything like that. You want to be a little bit intentional with what maps you pick for your bosses, but you should be able to clear bosses pretty well with this build. But I wouldn't recommend it as a dedicated bosser. And I still haven't done any of the in-game bosses because, quite frankly, it takes a long time to do the in-game bosses without buying the events, and I would much rather buy gear for my builds than to buy events to fight with my gear. I'll just farm those out naturally. And that's what I've been doing. Farming out the boss events naturally, and I still haven't gotten to the bosses. But a big part of that is I wasn't running this build. I was running my Hammer of the Gods build, which was much slower for mapping. So this is my watch TV, turn off the brain, hit a few casts, mapper build. It's my chill build. But as I was saying, you should be able to do all content. You're just going to want to look for immunity to lightning damage with this. And they won't ever touch you. And I hate these fireball, it just makes me want to dodge the fireballs even though they're on my team. But all I want to do is dodge the fireballs. Oh, there's a big rock there. Is it gonna let me get both? Is it gonna let me get both? I think I got both. Again, you just kind of step back, and this is gonna just get the work done. From way over here, I'm getting all the work done. And by staying mobile, if some jackass jumps at you or, you know, yells some kind of racial slur at you, you'll have full defense against that. As long as you stay moving, you know, always be moving, always be closing. You don't want to be standing around or you're going to get, you know, cocked in the dock. am I picking these up? Didn't Path of Exile 1 make it so you didn't have to pick those up? Okay, cool strongbox. You're the one that crashed my game, and you don't want to open. Did I clear this? I did. Oh, there it goes. There's just one left. And so far, the strong boxes haven't been worth it, but I gotta play a lot longer to identify. All right, you guys ready for this? You ready for this? So far, that has done that every time. I have hit maybe 10 of those so far and haven't gotten a single hit. They've always eaten the item. I like my setup. I wish the stacks were bigger than 20. It's like they unlearned a lot of the things they fixed in Path of Exile 1, which is just kind of odd. But for my big stash tab, this is where I put everything, right? And the good thing is, let's just grab some currency, right? Grab a few currency pieces. There's a node here. You want to make sure you take this affinity auto navigate. You want to keep that off. I think it's off by default. Then you can go to your big tab here and just keep your maps on the left. So you just left click your maps. And when you have currency, it's going to automatically put the currency there. And so this way on your big tab, if you don't have a big tab, I mean, this is a good enough game to spend a little bit of money on there. Get yourself a big tab. And you want to put like one of each of these nodes. So it stacks of 10s, and these 10s you kind of want to grab one and put it here, or you just wait till there. And then when you get your stuff, you just hold the control button, and then you just click, and you just throw everything in this one tab that isn't currency, and then currency and other stuff that you can have it auto-navigate will auto-navigate. It's a pretty fancy way. I shouldn't have my jewels here, but I do. Let's grab another. Let's try a T16 here. Elemental weakness is a little bit of extra damage, but again, if the boss isn't hitting with elemental damage, it's not going to be that big. Let's hit this T16 on this guy. This guy is going to be thick. We got a boss, we got 2 league mechanics, we got level up and corruption. And I need to navigate there. Is this a boss? No. We'll fight that guy, but we don't want to do a T16 on that guy. Let's do one of these T15s. Oh, this one's pretty juicy. There's so many bosses. Just so many bosses. It's great. And it sucks because they added the new currency for bosses, the new tablet for bosses, and then they upped the bosses as I switched to my non-boss build. But this is where the projectile speed shines, in little corridors. Because Spark can get a little rough in corridors, but the projectile speed and the chaining really makes Spark actually shine in corridors. Big part of that is it can kind of go around corners. Such a good word, corner. You know what I mean? I don't think you guys do know what I mean. One day you might know. Those guys are pretty dangerous. They can like wreck your dick off before you can get your stun going. Greater Essence of Infinite. Looks like that's an expensive item. Oh, I got a movement speed shrine. Excellent. So this is why I went to shrines, because you could really just pop off quite a bit. This is a shit map to have a movement speed shrine on. But you could pop off. Die already, asshole. You can pop off pretty hard. Oh my god, this map is pretty shit for a movement speed shrine. But you can just haul the fuck ass. And since you're not slowing down from casting very much, it is a smorgasbord of badassery. I think this map is the one where I get the invisible guy that's in the ground and kills me over and over again. Oh, I gotta fight the boss last on this one too, because it's the magma boss. And sometimes the magma boss will make it so you can't teleport out. Or at least I don't know how to get out of there. So let's fight the boss last. Oh my god, we gotta backtrack. And I don't know how to open doors. I wasted this moving speed shrine. There's probably gonna... No, it's probably best. Let me just backtrack. Dog shit. Complete dog shit. Just put a boss for every map and make the boss how you clear maps. I mean, they want to make the bosses super hard. Good thing I backtracked. There's a breach over here that I would have missed. But see, I could barely get a few in the door, but because it's chaining, it still worked. It still got the job done. What are you? Gain lightning damage and bolt strikes around you. Well, lightning damage would be nice. But the bolt strikes around me, it just makes me feel like I'm in danger. I really need to get good at trying to figure out how to navigate these maps, because it is always a problem for me. And again, you don't want to stay right up against the ledge. It's hard not to, because that's just kind of how you want to do it. But you want to stay away a bit, so your sparks can kind of go wild on their own. Breach splinters. Still haven't gone into the breach boss. I like to go back and forth like that, so they let them charge up on one side and then the other. Ideally, when I'm playing without recording, I normally don't pick it up as I go through, but I'm trying to be a little bit more quick. When I play without recording, I'm much slower. I know, you're thinking, damn, you're already pretty slow, but I'm even slower when I'm just, watching TV and playing. How the fuck do I go down there? Really good at rituals. Again, you always want to be moving. You can hold down the cast, but you want to be moving. You're always in danger when you're holding still in this game. Doorways are a big danger point too, because you don't have a line of sparks taking care of all the business. Now you're in the zone, the auto zone, for an additional charm. It's 2 points right here, +1 to charms, and you can put a stun charm in there. If you find yourself getting your cock stunned off, you can put a stun charm in there, and that'll be pretty dope. Maximum number of suffixes. Alright. See how I got hit when I walked into that doorway? So these kind of maps are the worst kind of maps for this build. And bossing are the worst kind of maps for this build, which is, good that I'm playing the worst kind of maps. If you get an open field, which I almost never get, I don't know why they have such an anger towards, open layouts without shit everywhere, but they do. So fucking pointless. Could be a fucking button. I get mad at that because I'm sensitive with my time, because we don't have a lot of time on this earth, and I want to spend as little of my time watching my character do something that I don't have control over, like slowly, agonizingly slow, hit a switch. See, I can't get up here. It locks you out of the map once you fight this boss, which is so odd, unless there's a way back here. I didn't see it last time I went back here. Nope. You just done so. Anything good in here? Dog shit. Can't re-roll. Let's grab sun's almost out from the window. Put up a drape, and it's in the perfectly wrong spot. 277. I am almost there. Prevent 75% of experience loss when you die. Excellent. Okay, we got another big boy that I said was good for bossing. Right here. Tap, 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 tap. Ooh, there's a sun temple. This map's pretty cool. I'm gonna get that extra dirty pop. God, I hope there's not an elite that I missed down there, because I'm about to go into a door. Or maybe not. Maybe I won't find it. I think the electrocute is key. The electrocute really does a lot of work in terms of mapping, because it just disables all the enemies from trying to do any shenanigans. So for all I know, my defenses are dog shit. I would never find out. You could literally ignore defenses with this build if you really wanted to. Like, let's say you're a level 95 and you don't want to level up anymore and you don't really care about the occasional map loss or death. You could stack nothing but offenses and just blast through these maps, and you'll kill anything that would have otherwise touched you, and these don't get touched. Especially if you can stack some movement speed, because then you just hold the cast button. Just like this. But I feel the movement speed is still just slightly prohibitive. Ever so slightly. To where you can't just constantly hold the cast button. It's just a hair too slow. I'm in a glass cage at the moment. I hate the fucking map designs in POE 2 compared to POE 1. Where's my atoll? Where's my rectangle with no off-shooting branches that are there deliberately to get me to go down that branch to find that dead end and to have to backtrack? I mean, there's something meditative about running the same map over and over and over and over again and optimizing your map strategy, your mapping, layout, maneuvering, and because the maps are fully random on here and you have no say in what map you get, and you end up exploring the entire fucking zone to find the exit, it's something unenjoyable about that for me. Because sometimes I just want to watch TV while I spark everything down and just get loot while watching TV. But if I have to think about where I'm going in the map and I don't have the map memorized, it's a little shitty. Not gonna lie. NGL. But that's just one aspect of it being shitty. It is a little fresh to have a map that you kind of don't know and don't know where to go. And just a full randomization of maps. There's some positive aspects to that, but one of the negative aspects is definitely the fact that it's a lot slower. Ooh, this boss is usually pretty hard. At least it was in the campaign. He's kind of a dick. And I'm gonna just walk on through. I'm just gonna stroll on through. Now these guys are pretty dangerous. These guys can actually spawn enemies behind you, like right at the beginning, and get you surrounded. So I always like to do a hair of backtracking. And then when I have this on, I do a permanent fast. I'm not doing a tap walk. I want to go a little slower, and I want to just do a permanent fast, because this can get a bit dangerous. So I am doing a permanent fast to fuck bitches up and look for their fatty pops. Another awkward map for it, but it's not too bad. But it is pretty good for this content. You just have to play a slightly more deliberate, right? You want to pay a little bit more attention, because you can get fucked up in this shit. A big part of that is they have those little glass things that you have to hit. I mostly just avoid those if I can. Just because it's a little more dangerous to hit those things and have the enemy spawn right in your face. You might not get your shock off. Like right there, those little glass things. It can get a bit squirrely. Someone turned off the density. Oh, we're at the boss. We don't want to fight the boss with this, so let's just turn it off. What's up, brah? Let me slow walk with my bird in my hand. Got way too low on mana. You see that shit? That's my defenses. You can't get low on mana. And also, when your mana gets too low, you can't hit them with lightning conduit. Oh, I don't know why. I couldn't even hit him. I don't know why I was attacking at all. Alright, so there's a boss death for ya. That was a skill issue. He should have been easily captured. I was just kind of zoning out. My nose is super fucking itchy, so it's itchy on my nose. I am miserable right now. The sun's out. My allergies are fucking dust everywhere. It hasn't rained in 150 fucking days. And my face itches. Like my whole fucking face itches. Like I got like fucking scabies or some shit. You know what? I want that belt to be amazing. Are you ready? Dog shit. Alright, now I think I have to clear that map. That's what I use these for, right? I just grab one lame-ass T14 on a map that doesn't have any mods because I died on it, but I do need it cleared out. I'll throw a T14 in there because I don't want to fucking disrespect my T15s on a map that has no mods. That would be a great map to have, that great boss to have Chaos Inoculation on, because, you know, I think all of his damage is poison damage. I haven't used Chaos Inoculation yet, but I am getting hit with a lot of poison damage. So it's definitely an overtuned mechanic because of, you know, how much they try to be a dick in Path of Exile 2. A big part of Path of Exile 2's ethos is being a complete asshole. Path of Exile 1, for the longest time, you can mostly just ignore chaos damage. There wasn't a lot of enemies that did chaos damage. Then a league launch called Betrayal, and they gave chaos damage to almost all of those Betrayal enemies, and people were trained to not really need chaos resistance. So most people didn't have any chaos resistance, and the Betrayal came around and fucked everyone's asshole right open because it was doing chaos damage. And it feels like they really amped up the chaos damage in Path of Exile 2, I'm seeing chaos damage everywhere. Pretty much every map you go into is going to have some sort of chaos damage applied. That was not true in Path of Exile 1, at least not for a while. It kind of got that way a little bit towards the end, but even then you would have maps, entire maps that didn't do chaos damage. So it wasn't that big of a deal if you didn't have your chaos resistance stacked. And I am talking softcore. Hardcore you've always needed maximum chaos resistance because you just can't fuck up hardcore. You got zero room for fuck up. Now you could probably make this a little bit more focused around cast on shot. But again, I built this as a T15 mapper. You just run around and you kill shit. Most of it off screen. And it's pretty dope. I'm just looking for that map. Get out of this gross T14. How come I didn't trigger my omen? Well, this item is active in your inventory, but then 75% of experience loss when I died. I just died. Does it have more than one charge? I'll have to look at the footage to see if I lost the full 10% or if I only lost 3%. Not that I intend to level this guy up again. I'm at level 91, that's plenty for me. I don't even know what I would do with those extra points. I guess if I got, 3 more levels, I can repath a little bit and grab a few extra damage nodes. Show me where they are, please. Show me where they fucking are. I don't wanna run around, all this fucking bullshit. This is the last one. Oh no, that's just a minion. Really ought to put teleport on. It's not difficult. I just go to my inventory, I grab teleport, I put it in, and then I put it to weapon 2. That's all I gotta do. I already have the weapon swap on a button. Utilize the checkpoint. I guess we'll start at the beginning. Gonna have some jackass in a tiny little hidey hole. Oh, well, is that the jackass in a hidey hole? Oh, there we go. Now they're showing me the faces. Faces of the enemies I will find and dine on. Swine and dine. Hey, the swine. I'm the dine. Well, there's a lot of this map left. Didn't increase HP. Oh, 76% all elemental resistances. 117% more monster life. I was like, this T14 be thick. No, that took way too long. This was supposed to be like a quick little, let's just blast through it so I can get to the next T16 boss and die on him. Let you guys know that I'm a fucking scrub with skill issues. More focus and attention issues and everything. That's why I can't play hardcore. I get so fucking bored sometimes running through these maps and I get frustrated from my boredom. And that impacts my play. I don't understand how people are on 100% of the time while playing hardcore. doesn't seem like fun. It seems like a goddamn job. I already have a job that sucks my balls. I don't need a second. Alright, T16. This is the thickest boss. I think it's the thickest boss you can get. Cooldown recovery, elemental weakness, patches of chilled ground, map boss, corrupted, irradiated. Should be like a level 82 or some shit in this arena. Is Savannah the horse boss? I hope it's fucking not. The horse boss always kills me because it's got those fucking dick nuts that throw the spears at me. Goddamn army of spear chuckers. I don't want no fucking spear chuckers around me. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, it's feeling like we got the spear chucker map. I'll clear the boss. I mean, clear the map before the boss this time. I don't know why I'm not throwing more sparks into the ether to the right of me. That's one of the things you kind of want to do when you're mapping. You shoot in front, and then you kind of throw to the right, and you're just kind of getting a... Whoa, buddies. Gotta watch for beyond when, you know, it's corrupted. They can spawn right on your dick and cause all kinds of problems. I should save that. The smart thing to do would be to save this league mechanic and come back to it in case, you know, the corrupted spawn on you, but I've never been accused of being smart. It's not an accusation that's frequently levied at me. Usually it's something more along the lines of, I'm very surprised that you know how to tie your shoes. And I'm like, oh, thank you. And then they're like, that's not a compliment. And I was like, oh, well, given I just learned how to tie my shoes, it most definitely is a compliment. Yeah, I don't like this song. What the fuck is this? Sometimes the sparks go inviso mode. Especially if you're holding it down, it'll just kind of like stop spawning sparks. I can't tell if it's not actually spawning sparks or if they're just invisible, so I'll always let go of the button. I kind of want to see where my sparks are going to. I want to see the propagation. I want to see the percolation. I want to see the electrocution impregnation. And, you know, if they deny me that, it's just a little sad. Oh, this is a great map for Breach. See, it's not even throwing sparks out. So much off-screening. Oh, it's so good. Oh. Hell yeah. Movement speed, shrine. At the end of the fucking Breach, though. Almost don't want to pick up this shit, but I need it. I need it. I only need the Breach punches. I can ignore the rest of the stuff. Fun over loot. Fun over loot. I don't want a league mechanic that slows me down, but fuck it. But fuck it. Experience shrine? Hell yeah. Experience shrine's where it's at. Also don't really like this song. It's run out of the good tracks. So I'll swipe my headphones and switch that track. Want my headphones, didn't want to switch the track again. Streets of Rage 4, I hate to break it to you, your soundtrack is just not as good as any of the other Streets of Rage, because you have a different audio composer, and you just didn't get it right. Okay, we got one more of those. We got a checkpoint for the boss. I'm notoriously bad at this boss, so I want to clear out the map. Notoriously bad at this boss. Like BIG shit. And it's probably because I don't have a blink. If you blink into the boss, you can avoid the spear checkers. And avoiding spear checkers is a good life goal. See how I'm kind of wedged over in this little spot? And there's only a couple holes where my sparks can get into, like Bubba. The chain really helps me get up in there, even though I'm kind of safe over here in my own little zone. And that's where the extra chain really, with the snake pit, really starts to show its value in off-screening and ledge curbing, curb stomping, that kind of good stuff. But I mean, this really isn't that much different than the standard Spark Stormweaver. It's just using the overpoweredness of Archmage and Spark, and using mobility as a way to do it quickly versus damage. Because as you can see, I have no damage modifiers really from my passive. I get 6 extra skill points to apply to lightning skills and lightning damage, but for the most part, I don't have any damage that is being given by my ascendancy of a Pathfinder. The only thing I have is quality of life, and for me, ascendancy points that provide quality of life are the best ascendancy points. I was a big fan of the Jug in Path of Exile 1, and the Trickster, because the Trickster made it so you can't get frozen or petrified, and the Jug made it so you can't get slowed, and those are always my favorite. Is map completed? Do I have to kill the boss for it to complete it, or is this dude like in the ground? What are you? You in the ground, you in the dirt, or are you dead? You dead. You dead as fuck, boy. Alright, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna avoid the spear truckers, right? I pump this bad boy up, it's a level 82, and I kind of really don't want to die here. Aside from the fact it's gonna make me look like a little wee bitch, I want to die. So I'm gonna get in here, I'm gonna grab me a blink. Blink. Abraham Blinken. We got a blink. We're gonna put that blink in here. I'm gonna set that to weapon number dose. And weapon swap, blink. Alright, it works. Weapon swap, blink. Cover some mana in case I take a hit. Oh, it has a cooldown. I was trying to... Oh, notoriously bad at this boss. I got greedy. I tried to hit my Sigil of Power, and he wrecked my dick. I mean, I called it. I said I was going to die on this boss. I don't know why this boss is the boss that gets me, but I maybe killed that boss one time successfully. For whatever reason, I always just fucking choke on that boss. Usually I walk around and I instantly die from the spear checkers. I'm guessing he has a pretty good hit of physical damage, and my physical mitigation is virtually non-existent. The operation requires account to be logged in. Okay. I thought I was logged in. I wonder if that means I gotta refight that boss. Come on now. Nope. If just said nope. Alright, we got 2 bosses up here, but I need to travel a node. Let's just travel a regular node. Let's play this build as it's meant to be played. Not bossing, but traveling. But travels. Actually, let's do a little bit of experimentation and see. Gem support, ArcaneSurge. Let's put ArcaneSurge on, and let's replace. We need that. Let's replace Arcane. You know what? Let's get rid of a little bit of projectile speed, and let's go with a little bit more damage. Now, projectile speed doesn't help for bosses in the slightest. So we'll get rid of just a bit of that projectile speed, and you'll see the spark still works just fine, but the distance it can travel and how far it can go between chains is reduced with the reduced cast speed. But ArcaneSurge is going to allow me to have more mana when I'm bossing. And ideally, you might want to even grab the things that pump up ArcaneSurge. You can get like 60% increased impact of ArcaneSurge or some shit like that. But my off-screening is greatly diminished without the projectile speed. My sparks are kind of meandering, they're a little bit lazy, they're a little bit slow, a little bit fat. And because I have reduced costs, I really have to cast a lot in order to get my ArcaneSurge up. So I have to hold it non-stop. So 3, 2, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. So I got a little too extra. So when I do the tap walk, it doesn't quite use the ArcaneSurge as much. But hopefully on the boss with ArcaneSurge, I'll be able to just hold it down. Just be able to hold it down. Hold down the line. And fuck shit up. And if you're playing a Stormweaver, which is the correct choice, always, that's why it's the most popular class, you'll just wreck the bosses. But you won't be able to move as quickly. And I guess I could. There's a section I can do. And grab these crit nodes, 5% chance to gain ArcaneSurge when you deal a critical strike, and then I can take off Controlled Destruction and allow me to crit sometimes, which will proc ArcaneSurge, and that might be something to explore. So I have to do a bit of recapping in order to do that. And I probably only have like a 12% crit chance. So I'm not exactly sure. And that ArcaneSurge is only for 4 seconds instead of this one, which is 8 seconds. I mean, it's really a personal preference. But ArcaneSurge is pretty dope. The projectile speed works a little bit to offset the... Not offset, to increase the range in which you can off-screen enemies. That's what the projectile speed is good for. And it kind of gets the damage started a little bit faster. But ArcaneSurge will give you better mana regeneration and faster cast speed. And we'll find out on the next boss if that's worth it. Can you guys believe I died on that horse boss? I mean, I called it, and I was just kind of standing there, not attacking, not doing anything, letting him hit me in the face like an idiot. But I think I would have survived it if I had full mana. I don't know where my mana was at, but it wasn't full. That's what this build shines at. Regular maps. But I got all these bosses, and my other build is in disarray. Alright, let's try another T16 on this bad boy. Oh, these bosses are kind of lame. Do I got any thicker bosses with that want that T16? Oh, that one's pretty thick. This one's thicker. This one's nice, but it's not irradiated. But it does have a breach. We'll do this one. Dilapidated town. I don't like that one. Oh, we got some Mega Man shit. Alright, we'll do some Mega Man shit. I missed the projectile speed. Start with the boss. Gotta see if I can keep this casting. Even while popping potions, I still can't maintain mana, even with ArcaneSurge. But I'm closer at least. Stop hitting me. I need my mana up, bro. Overseer contains additional bosses. I'm gonna pump the format. I probably ought to figure out a good way to make this a bosser as well. Maybe the concoction will do that. So after this video, I'll take care of some real life shit. And maybe I'll try to get that concoction popping. It's just going to be very anti-synergistic with that concoction because I'm using ArcaneSurge. Not ArcaneSurge. Archmage. I mean, the difference isn't that much different with the reduced projectiles, but you can see that the enemies are getting a lot closer to me than they were before. I was stun locking them a lot farther away. They weren't even pretending to be able to attack me. But you see those guys getting those projectiles off? That wouldn't have happened if I had the increased projectile speed. So the ideal build actually likely is, do I still have that other skill on me? No, it looks like it went by the wayside. The ideal is probably to get rid of mobility and keep projectile speeds on. And take that hit and only do the tap walk, except for on bosses or when you feel like you're safe. That's probably the best. I don't have any regen. I keep my life tapped up with life on kill. I think I have a 2%er in there in my jewel set. But some life regeneration would be pretty nice. a thicker amulet with more spirit would allow me to use vitality, which would be dope. Or I just corrupt my chest, my helmet, and get like 1.5% regen. Just a little bit of regen, so when you stand in something like burning ground, you're able to get your life back. But all you boys are likely using whatever that tech is. Mind over matter. So everything is mana. Which is the better way to do it. That's why it's meta. It's also much less expensive. I think the take damage as mana is catching on. It's also very rare, but those jewels are getting more and more expensive. It kind of naturally happens with the currency scarcity. But to get a 4% of damage comes from mana before life, jewel with good damage mods on it. Very expensive. Some of my jewels that I paid like 20 exalted orbs for are now probably like 20 divines. So I bought those jewels super early on. As soon as I saw the jewels can grab that node, which was pretty late, mind you, I went shopping. Spent like 7 divines worth on those jewels, or 6 divines worth on those jewels right at the start. So let's price some of those bad boys out. This one's just a 12% spell damage and a 4%. So let's just do 12% spell damage and 4%. We're looking at like 50, 40 exalts for something like that. Let's grab, you're useless to me because I don't crit, I don't have energy shield. So this is just 4% damage taken from life before mana. So, that one I could easily replace for a better one if I was so inclined. Okay, this one's we got spell damage and cast speed. Oh, we also want that. So this is a divine, 20 divine. This one's probably got an extra good one on it. 55 exalts. This one's my best one, I think. So this one's got spell damage, elemental damage, 4% of damage. 2 divine for a similar one. Much cheaper than I was expecting. If I had 2 divine, I would pop in and buy that right now. So these bad boys with the 2% of mana on kill, when you're doing my setup, you need that 2% of mana on kill. It keeps you mapping real nice. So let's just see what a 2% of mana on kill. Oh damn, that one's even more expensive, which is why it's got 2 dog shit nodes with it. That's a 7 divot right there. I did not pay 7 divot for that bad boy. Late recoup and damage from mana. And then if we throw on magnitude of ailments, it's pretty pricey. Oh, we got a 4% cast speeder. $20 div is selling me for that one. Giggity gook. Giggity gook. Yeah, so those jewels are pretty expensive. Mind over matter is the better option. Do I have any big boy bosses that would be cool to fight? I mean, I might as well fight that stone citadel I had, right? Had a stone citadel somewhere. What's that stone citadel? Oh, I have a copper one, right? No, an iron. I failed the copper. Is this the copper that I failed? No, that's a stone. I had a copper somewhere. I'm pretty sure I failed it. Oh well, I don't know where the copper was. But this one's an iron, which is a dick, I think. A mean old boss. Let's offload some of these maps. And then this will be my final hurrah. A map that I shouldn't run with this build. I'm going to run with this build. Let's see what we can get out of it. I should have identified everything. Oh, so close on that breach. Almost got 300 shards, and then I can get the breach going, which would be real nice for my currency. See how everything's just kind of going in its place? For sure, everybody does this. Some people are new to Path of Exile, and they might be having some struggles with their map sessions. So, you know, some shit like this might help somebody out. Okay. Identify item. Magnitude of bleed. And I'm just gonna do a T15 to get this bad boy cleared, and that's fine. Extra damage is cold. I don't want that. Critical damage bonus. Critical strike chance. Pack size. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. This ain't gonna, the boss ain't gonna have nothing. This doesn't do nothing for the boss. Damn. It's white. Guess it's gonna make me do one before it. Just grab these, smash it up real quick. I'm gonna try to be quick with this bad boy. Life regeneration. Sometimes you get some boys that are pretty difficult. Also didn't read them out. Do we have like extra life or something? Elemental resistances. I can always feel when there's something in here that's causing them to take less damage. When they have a mod like increased elemental resistances, it's definitely worth it to drop a curse on the yellows. This one do you have additional resistance to elemental damage. Hidden Spark. what triggers them to show me where the elites are? Is it the percentage of maps explored? Is it time in map? Percentage of rares left? I don't know. I wish I knew, so I can just trigger whatever it takes to show me where the elites are. If it's map explored, I will just explore the map as quickly as possible to identify where the rares are. Because these white and blue mobs mostly just drop nothing. In fact, the rares mostly drop nothing. For the most part, you don't really get any loot in this game. I mean, what is my magic find at? It's probably under 100. 98%. So I don't have the highest rarity, as you can tell in my loot. If you got one of them rarity shields, you just pop it on here. There's nothing stopping you from using a rarity shield. It would have been quick. I missed a rare somewhere. A bucket of rares. It was almost quick. Looks like I missed 3 rares. But if I could have made it to the end there and got all the rares, it would have been fast. I'm gonna make one adjustment for the next the Iron Citadel boss I'm about to fight. Because my mana is so important to keep stacked up, and with cast on shock, it's really costing a lot of mana. So I'm gonna do a nice little replacement. I'm gonna take out I'm gonna get rid of the increased cast speed, which is actually, I think, a net loss in thieves. Actually, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna keep that like that. I want the mobility. The whole point of it's so tempting to remove the mobility node because it's definitely not adding any damage. It's really not adding that much value if you do the stutter step walking. But it is the identity of the build. It's the whole point I made the build, so I gotta use it. Which one of these was good? That one had crit. Yeah, that one, it's just solid. So close to being good, buddy. And now we can do the Iron Citadel. Reduced cast speed. If I hold it, I barely get ArcaneSurge. Watch. It runs out for a blip and then I get it back. And that's with holding it down. So for bossing, I'm going to want to try to see if I can hold it down. And the reduced cast speed means I'm using less mana to cast this bad boy. I'm doing way more damage, but using much less mana, getting fewer casts out, which is probably going to mean less shocks. But it also means that I have more defenses up if I can keep the mana high enough. And there's items you can use to increase your maximum mana and mana regeneration rate to get over these problems. low mana is always a bit of an issue. In fact, it might even be stronger for me to unanoint or path into. If we take a look, I have this guy anointed right here, and it's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points to path into there. So I could easily drop 7 points out of this bad boy. Like I can anoint this guy, and then get rid of all of these nodes, and then path into here, and then have extra stuff for mana. There's a lot I can do here to pump up that mana, but for now, I'm just going to try to use considered casting with reduced cost of spells and ArcaneSurge to see if I can stay at stacked mana. Since the objective is to be at maximum mana so you can take a big old fatty, big old fat hit. Because I should have like 5,000 effective hit points, a little more than 5,000, 5,500 between my life and mana split, which is pretty good. It's not great, but it's pretty good. So good for breach content. I'm pretty sure this is going to allow me to get the breach boss. I would totally fight that breach boss in this video, but the boy needs to take a big old fat piss. Piss out a piss log. Wish I never had to do it. It's just a waste of time. Projectile speed. It's not spreading as quickly. That age does not permeate. I need that Fauci to make it more transmissible. Need to enhance my cleavage sight. You guys know what I'm talking about. I was right there next to that shrine. If that's a movement speed shrine, I'm gonna be both happy and sad. What, do I have a fucking heartbeat in my latency? I do have a heartbeat in my latency. The fuck? Why do I have a heartbeat in my latency? Up here. It's boss time. What's up, Brosa? almost. I still need to do a little stutter step with my casting. Not bad, not bad. I mean, I did hand-pick the map, so it wouldn't kill me. But I think that's what you should do on the Citadels. Hand-pick the map, make sure there's not a lot of damage mods. Take a look at this. Especially because I'm grabbing the things that enhance all of these mods. Yeah, but there's no damage mods on here to fuck me over. That's just smart gameplay. I'm sure your build can be completely badass and you just wipe the floor with those dick licks. And you ain't gotta worry about that. But I imagine most builds that aren't doing just like copy the meta probably can't instantly Control-Alt-Delete those bosses without getting hit by any of his mechanics. So it is wise to pick maps that don't have a lot of damage mods. I missed a whole block. Doubles. It's getting urgent. The situation in my pants is getting urgent. What's more important? Path of Exile 2 or your nation station? We all know it's Path of Exile 2. I might just catheter this bitch, do some sounding with pipe, some pipe sounding, and just piss out of a little pipe tube. That's what I'm talking about. You probably don't know what I'm talking about. Is this the one I need to do? Oh, I got them all. Okay, what do we got? Only prefixes. Those seem lame as fuck. I don't even know which one omens. People are talking about like they like omens. I don't know. What fucking omens do you like? I mean, obviously I haven't seen any good omens. I mean, this one doesn't even fucking work. I've died like 3 times with this in my inventory. Unless it always works. And it, wait, does it consumes it, right? While item active in your inventory prevents 75. Okay, maybe it doesn't. Only one omen can be triggered for combat in each instant. Maybe that omen's permanent. If that's permanent, that's actually a really dope omen. Actually, I'll be able to figure out if that omen is permanent real quick here. Oh, yeah, it's a divine orb, so it's probably permanent. Or that's wrong, and it's not a divine. People just put a divine orb. But if it's a divine orb for that omen, that means it's a permanent. Again, I'll have to review the tape of when I died with that omen in my inventory. 6 monsters left, and one of them is an elite. Way over here, and I have to pee so bad. I'm peeing out of my armpits in sweat, and it's trailing down my elbow all the way to my wrist, because I am a dirty, dirty boy. Sweating and almost convulsing over how much I need to... Oh, this proximal immunity. Alright, we done here? How are we not done? How is this map not complete? How is the map not complete? What's going on? Ah! Ah! I don't know how this map is not complete, but I'm complete. That's the build. I will check you guys later.